The Niners and the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna be watching.
You are listening to The Objective Jerk, where objectiveness is the objective, and I am said jerk.
What's going on? This is The Objective Jerk, and I'm said jerk. How is everybody doing? Hope all is well. There were some football games that went on. There were some posts that were posted. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Like so I don't know. Okay, you know, I'm American. I grew up in America, and football was not like a major part of my life growing up, but Super Bowl definitely was. And like before I even watched really football, I mean, okay, I guess it was, I see some pictures and stuff like that, but it was always around, you know what I mean? I don't think I started watching it until like around 13. I started watching it with my grandfather, and at that time it was the Seahawks. Um, but I was born in Minnesota. I grew up in Utah, but I was always around my uncle, who was also born in Minnesota. And so when it came time for me to pick a team, instead of picking the Seahawks, I picked the Vikings and just went from there, And I'm still a Vikings fan, I got hats and some stuff and whatever, but um so, you know, I like I like football. I wouldn't, consider myself a nerd about it, just kind of like everything else, like I know some players, I know some history of the Vikings and a little bit of the Seahawks. And I remember, Montana and Rice and stuff, so I know probably a little more than a regular person, I guess, but it wouldn't be much more. I'm either right there or maybe a little more, but um I'm definitely no, encyclopedia. I don't retain touchdowns, the amount of touchdowns and yards and everything. And I don't know all the rules, even though they're always changing. So I don't think anybody does. But so but I liked football, and when I was in the army, some buddies of mine and stuff, we helped pay for the NFL package and stuff, so we could all watch football, watch our teams, and stuff like that. And so, it was a part of my life. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a huge part, but it was definitely a part of it. And then, you know, um I don't know. So when did I watch? What was I think the last thing I watched, I'm trying to think of the season. It was probably the 2000, it was May 2018, maybe. I think that was the last one where we kind of watched games. And of course, at this time, Colin Kaepernick or whatever, and the whole kneeling thing, which that whole thing was kind of annoying. I didn't like him kneeling, but at the same time, it didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really matter to me, but it did kind of, that incident, I guess, got me to notice things, about the NFL, like what, like it kind of got my first taste of like they don't really care about the game or the fans. They care about the money, whatever they can do to bring in money and stuff, And then I don't know, the next year was just kind of busy doing stuff and family and house and everything, and then we ended up moving here and stuff. and I'm I can watch NFL games here, but it's more of a hassle, you know. I mean, in the States, it's on Sunday. You turn on any local channel, and you're gonna have some sort of football local team, or you can watch, you know, ESPN. Or it's much more accessible. Um, so here you have to kind of work for it. So you can get like a satellite, and you know, there's ways to do it, but you know, you have to work for it. And plus, it's like at a different time. Like it's in the so yesterday. No, what's today? Today's Tuesday. So yesterday or Sunday. Well, I guess it was yesterday for me. So Monday morning was Sunday night for me, and so that's where I was kind of keeping tabs, and you know, everybody's watching the game. So it's like, you know, usually at the, you know, in the States it's an evening time, and then you're watching the game. Here it's not early morning, but it's still morning, and so it's the idea. Same with like UFC. I love UFC. I'd much rather watch UFC now, just to kind of for the support aspect of it, because I don't like supporting the NFL, and I'm getting to that. Ah, too much whiskey. No. Um, but again, it's like the fights. I mean, I guess probably the main event would probably be like 10 in the morning or something, but it just seems weird to be watching that stuff in the morning. And that's kind of when I'm most active and motivated to do chores or do things and get things done is in the morning time. So I don't want to, if I sit and watch a football game or watch a UFC match, then the whole rest of my day is screwed. For me, that's just kind of how I am. But anyway, so the fact that it's a, you know, the time change, and you know, I have to kind of pay a little extra and and do some whatever, it made it easier for me to just cut the NFL cord, you know what I mean? And so for me it was, you know, there was, and like everyone else, I don't know, it was, you know, I first got here, and then the scamdemic happened, and so, you know, just football wasn't a priority. But once everything kind of was cooling off and everything, and then I think what really got me to just like, or the second thing that really was like, man, well, okay, to be fair, you know, so you had like, you know, Kaepernick, and then you have the conspiracies of, you know, games being fixed so certain teams will go to the Super Bowl because those teams will draw more views and more money and all that kind of crap, right? And there are some compelling evidence, I think, that's like, yeah, okay, I could see that. And then maybe it's a little bit of a stretch, but I could totally see I could totally see them affecting like the game between the Lions and the Niners. You know what I mean? That happened on Sunday. I could see the NFL trying to make it to where the Niners go instead of the Lions, because they're thinking there are more bandwagon Niner fans than Lions, and you know, and so there's that. And then when you had like the vaccine, and kind of, and then what they were doing, like Aaron Rodgers, and just kind of everything was just like, what the crap. So, and then by that time it'd probably been about what, 2 years or something since I really watched anything. So I was just like, you know what, I'll just fuck it, you know what I mean? And that's kind of been my, that's been my my stance basically. um and you know, I keep tabs, you know, my team is Minnesota, and so I would kind of, I wouldn't like, because the days and stuff here, it's like different, like I forget what days it is sometimes, so it's like, you know, I would miss that, you know, I'll just see the scores, or I'll keep track of how many wins and losses, but that's about it. Now if they went to the playoffs, I would have been, I might have paid to watch. I don't know though. I might have just kept track. Now, if the Vikings went to the Super Bowl, I would definitely would. I would watch that, probably just to be disappointed, but whatever. Anyway, so that's kind of my, I'm still a Vikings fan, and someday I might get back into it or something. Who knows? But I'm just not like in a big rush to, I guess. Anyway, so that's kind of my stance on the NFL right now, right? And then with and real quick, just to kind of do a little segue, I've never understood. This is how I was going to start the podcast actually, and I just remembered. Maybe I should start writing down a little script, sort of, or just little bullet points. I need to maybe, but anyway. So I never understood the whole rivalry. Like I understand the rivalry, like for my team, the North, Green Bay, Minnesota, Lions and Bears, right? There's that the rivalry and so I get that during the season, but whoever out of if somebody out of our I can't think of what it's called right now. Not region. What is it? Or whatever. But if somebody, the Bears, the Lions, Green Bay, hopefully Minnesota, if they go to the playoffs or to the Super Bowl, I always kind of cheer for them because they're part of division, our division. So it's like I understand like the rivalry, but like I don't hate Green Bay. I don't hate the Bears. I don't hate the Lions. I just like the Vikings more. So, yes, I want those other teams to lose to Minnesota, but if those teams are going to the Super Bowl or at the Super Bowl, I'm going to root for them. You know what I mean? Because they're part of our division. Like that's how I've always kind of looked at it. So I don't if somebody I would like somebody, I mean I could look it up I guess, but I'd rather have a little interaction from the audience. Explain to me why, like I would see like memes of Minnesota fans and it's like, oh yeah, now they're rooting for the Niners because they're playing against the Lions. Like why? Why not have that would be awesome if the Lions went to the Super Bowl and won. That would be awesome, I think. Um I mean I'd rather Minnesota, but definitely don't want the Niners. I don't know. And plus I've always kind of been the underdog. I always like teams that haven't won or don't win. So, let's say if it was like the Browns, I'd be rooting for the Browns. So that's kind of how I've always been. So, anyway, the Lions divisional playoffs or not even division, it's what do you call it? They won their division. Anyway, see, that's how much of a football I can't remember terms and whatever this and that, but but anyway, so they were playing the last game of the season, the playoff to go to the Super Bowl, right? And so they were playing the Niners, and the Chiefs already beat the Ravens. So yesterday I did log on. I was like, oh crap, today's the championships game, and so I looked. I saw that the Chiefs won, of course. Whether they did or not, I don't know. I didn't watch, but and then I saw that the Lions were winning, and I was like, oh, cool, And so I was keeping tabs of the score while doing other things, and I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll watch the Super Bowl this year. I was like, if the Lions go, I may watch the Super Bowl. I'll however I got to do it. I don't know how exactly, but I would figure it out and stuff like that. So I was thinking about it. And the Lions were whooping that ass. And then suddenly just San Francisco came back from way behind and came back and whooped their ass. And I didn't watch it. I haven't seen anything, but it is always kind of suspect. Like, I don't know. Like, if you think about it, who would the NFL rather go to the Super Bowl, the Lions or the Niners? They're going to want the Niners, man, because that's going to bring more people. people that were huge fans of, you know, Montana and them, and it's just it's an old dynasty. Like it brings in more views and more money. I think is what they're thinking. But to me, I would think like the Lions would. I don't know, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not. All I know is I probably would have watched the Super Bowl if the Lions won. And now that they didn't, it's like two teams I don't give a fuck about, and probably didn't even really deserve to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So there's that, right? So another thing I want to talk about, which I thought was hilarious, was there was a Facebook post. Like it's crazy how much interaction I've gotten over this one comment. Let me see. Let's see. I can go up to my comment. I think it's just one, or maybe I'm getting. Okay, so there's this comment on a post from Facebook from Front Office Sports. Taylor Swift has generated an equivalent brand value of $331 million for the Chiefs in the NFL. Huh? The amount includes TV highlights, social media, print, blah blah blah. So you knew Kansas was going to go with this whole thing going on. Whether and they probably won fair and square. But if they didn't, or who's to say that that they didn't? I didn't watch the game, so it's like there are those games where like they're just horrible calls that are like what, and it really makes a big difference in the game. Is it possible that the refs were told to favor, a team to kind of make them win? Whatever this and that. It's not a complete atrocity, not atrocity, but it is possible. You know what I mean? And to think that a big corporation that's all about the money would never think to do that, you're a fool. You know what I mean? And that's another reason why I don't really care for the NFL anymore. But I know if and I don't blame Taylor Swift. I don't like her. I think she's annoying, but I don't blame her necessarily. I blame, the NFL. But, they see this and then see this is just now watch. There's going to be a famous girl dating a football player every fucking season. I don't know. It's just going to be annoying. But anyway, so there's this post, right? And this, I swear I did the same comment. Anyway, so I did. Yeah, I got a typo. I just realized it. Anyway, it says, and as things like this, it's supposed to be, and it's things like this, but it's things like this why I haven't watched the Super Bowl in 5 years. That was my comment, and that's not purely, that's just a part of it. You know what I mean? Every time I start thinking about it, then it's like something like this kind of comes up and stuff like that. And dude, man, like I've gotten 923 either thumbs up or laughs or hearts or whatever. And then there's like all these comments and people are like so like they're like upset. Some of them are, not all, but like it's kind of funny. What the hell? Oh, now people are like posting porn shit or whatever. Anyway, so let me see. So I'll just kind of read some of them. I don't have them like jotted down like the best ones. I'm sorry, but so that was my comment, and then the first one was like they probably noticed and care, about the NFL. Like they noticed that I, a single individual, wasn't watching and care, which it's true. Just me. No, I would not make a difference. But to be fair, it's not just me though. There is a lot of people. And then see, here's somebody that kind of talks about that, this Doug Shumway says they're going to eventually. Pandering to the casual fan never works in the long run. Sure, it's monetarily beneficial in the short term, but it never works out in the long term. Wait till the NFL starts to come down from their high. Yeah, so it's true. That's like I said. So it's going to be, it's, and then they end up losing fans. Compare something miserable themselves who know. See, then let's see. Hold on. For every, I don't watch the Super Bowl. There's probably 7 or 8. I don't know. Football was this fun, and I promise their bank accounts don't show the difference. And they're not wrong either. I mean, but you look at Bud Light, you look at certain things, and it's it can happen. They were like, oh, and then people like with Disney, oh yeah, I'm sure Disney. When people are talking about like I don't watch Disney films or Marvel films anymore, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm sure they're crying into their money and stuff like that. And maybe not right now, but and it's not just Bud Light. There's many other companies that are not looking to see what their true fans, hearing what they have to say, and they end up losing money. And yeah, there's a noise going on outside that sounds like somebody's. I'm basically just liking every comment, whether it's calling me a weirdo or not. But yes, here's another one. No one notices that you watch the game, bro. Yeah. Uh, I promise you, even without your contributions, I'm sure the NFL will find a way to carry on. So most of them are, no one cares, this and that, and oh, what a special little snowflake you are, and stuff like that. But then there's some that, it's like, dude, he doesn't like to watch because of that. So, it's like, it's just, but it's just kind of funny. Like I was not expecting this much interaction, but it's like, it's the whole tribal thing. You know what I mean? So you have people that will watch football no matter what. I mean, they could bring out a bunch of kids in the middle of the field and assassinate them all and then clean it up before the game in front of everybody and then play the game and people would still watch. You know what I mean? Like there's people that just they can't not change something like that from their life. They like it means too much to them no matter how bad they make themselves to be or whatever, you know what I mean? And to be fair, me moving here made it much easier. If I was in the States, could I say that I haven't watched in 5 years? Probably not. But I hope I could. But and it's just like, and then people talk about what I just said about the Chiefs and maybe being kind of helped to win. And dude, there's plenty of evidence of teams cheating in the past, and of course, when it's their team, they don't care. And that's just like in politics and everything. They don't care that their side is cheating and murdering and doing all this kind of bad stuff. Their side is winning. That's all they care about. And so I think this whole thing, the argument, the post, the reception, it just says a lot about people's mentality. The whole tribal. Oh, and you don't like what I like, so it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy. People are crazy. Internet's crazy. Social media's crazy. Football's crazy. Sucks too because I would have watched. I'm 99.9% sure I would have found a way to watch the Super Bowl if the Lions won. But they didn't, so no big deal, I guess. Anyway, let me know what you think. Send me an email, send me a comment, all that kind of stuff. Do you still watch football? Do you care? Did you ever care? What are your opinions? Whatever. I don't know. Let me know. But that's it for me. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, do me a favor, and however you're either listening or watching this, please give it a like or subscribe or follow or whatever. And then, do me another favor and give me a little comment. Let me know what you think. Or just a thumbs up, I guess. Whatever. It all helps. I appreciate it, and have a good one.